At 36 years old, I was a stay-at-home homeschooling mom with no job, no resume worth handing to anybody, no hobbies, no savings to invest, and honestly, no idea what I was going to do with the rest of my life. 2 years later, I was running my Etsy shop making $40,000 a month. I'm not telling you that to try and impress you. I'm telling you because I need you to hear what I actually had going for me when I started, which was nothing. No design background, no business degree, no audience, no money to lose. So if you've been sitting there quietly watching people build these amazing shops and thinking that they must have something that you don't have, I want to walk you through my whole story today. Not the highlight version, the messy version, including the part where I almost quit and the part where I completely burnt myself out. And at the end, I'm going to show you the exact moment my shop stopped being a job and became a business that I could actually scale. That's the part that almost nobody seems to talk about, and it's the part that matters the most. I stayed home with my 2 children from the moment that they were born. I homeschooled them, and we lived off my husband's paycheck as an electrician for years. And that was it. Just one paycheck. And I'll be honest with you, it was tight. We were living paycheck to paycheck. There was no cushion and there was no savings account. But it was a trade I made on purpose because being home with my children meant more to me than anything else. And I have never regretted that decision. But somewhere in there, I lost myself. A few years before COVID, I did start something small. I made artificial wedding bouquets for local brides, and I built, with the help of my husband, a big flower wall that was really on trend that year, and we started renting that out. My husband and I would load the flower wall up into our minivan, sometimes with our 2 young children with us, take it to the venue and set it up. And then he'd go back at 1 o'clock in the morning or sometimes 6 o'clock the next morning, disassemble it, load it back into the van and bring it home. And it worked. It gave us a little bit of the extra money that we needed. And it was something I was proud of. But look at what that business actually was. If we didn't get in the car, there was no income. The business was our hands and our time, and there was nothing else to it. Then 2020, COVID hit, weddings stopped, and that business dissolved. And I didn't really want to rebuild it when it came time because I think part of me knew that I would just be rebuilding the same trap that I was already in. So now it's the end of 2020. I'm getting close to 40 years old. My children are now teenagers and they don't really need me the same way they used to. And I'm standing in my kitchen realizing that I have no hobbies, no passions, and no idea the answer to the question of what are you going to do when the kids move out? By then, I had been out of the workforce for well over a decade. My education and experience was in law enforcement. And I'll be really honest with you, at that stage of life with that gap, that's not a door that I wanted to try and walk back through. I had given all of myself to raising my family, and I'd do it all again. But I had nothing left that was mine. Before I keep going, if you're at the starting line right now, or you've got a shop that isn't quite going yet, I put everything that I wish that I had have known in my first year into my 30-day Etsy shop growth plan. It's a day-by-day plan, so you're not guessing what you should be working on next. Links in the description. Go grab it. So, late December 2021, I decided that I'm going to open an Etsy shop. And I started with paper garlands. Why garlands? Well, because when my kids were little, I loved decorating for their birthday parties. I would go overboard every single year. That was the one thing that I knew that I could do. I didn't take a moment to research a niche or a customer or find a gap in the market. I just started. And that turned out to be the right instinct for me. They did okay, some sales, which was exciting, but it was nothing life-changing. But here's the thing. I was in the party niche now, and I could see it from the inside. And what I started to see was lots of people searching for these custom glitter banners and not a whole lot of shops really delivering on them. So I bought my very first Cricut machine, learned how to use it, and started making them and selling them. And that took off. Within a few months, I was making several $1,000s from my home office, and I had invested in 3 more Cricut machines so I could keep up with the orders. Then I spotted my next big opening. My biggest customers at that time were people shopping for a bachelorette party. So I started offering matching face banners with their custom glitter banner, a glitter sign in their chosen color and font that said something along the lines of "Same cowboy forever" or "Anna's last fling before the ring," and then a face banner with the groom's face wearing a silly hat that matched the theme. And that exploded. It tripled my sales and 4 or 5x'd my monthly revenue. And here's the part where I'm going to get really honest, because it's usually the part that gets skipped by people. It nearly broke me. 50 to 100 orders a day, and every single one of those orders required my hands. Cut it, assemble it, package it, ship it, get to the post office on time. I was working 16 plus hours a day, 7 days a week. My family was watching me live my life in front of a craft table. I remember going for a short walk with my daughter and feeling so stressed out because I literally didn't have the time to be away from my craft table. I had so many orders that needed to get done before the next day. I had built the flower wall business all over again. Much bigger, a much larger scale, but same business concept. If I stopped working, the money stopped coming in. So I had to make a decision. Rent a warehouse and hire employees, take on rent, payroll, management, all of that, or make a really hard pivot into digital products and print on demand. And I chose digital and print on demand. And that hurt. All my sales fell off a cliff. I had lost all the momentum that I had built while I was rebuilding from scratch. And I came so close to going back to what had been working. Then 4 months in, right about the time I was about to give up hope, it took off. Here's what had actually changed, and it's the whole lesson of this entire video. The product stopped needing my hands. A printable is made once and then sold thousands of times on repeat. A print-on-demand tapestry gets printed and shipped by somebody else. Same shop, but my income was no longer capped by how many hours I could physically work. And then I stopped starting over on every design I was making. I found one design style that was converting, and instead of reinventing every single time, I ran that same design style across theme after theme after theme. About 10 different real design styles turned into thousands of listings. I sold the occasion, not the product. Instead of one invitation, I built out every piece of the party. Invite, signs, favor tags, games, the tapestry, and then the full bundle as its own listing. That raised my average order value as well as my order count. An order count is what makes Etsy show you to more people. I added a higher ticket anchor. A large personalized tapestry sold for $120 in my shop, and it cost me $45. That one sale was worth almost 15 of my smaller sales. That's the shop that did just under $1 million in 4 years, 7,000 reviews, and 40,000 customers. I built it and I scaled it. So let me bring this all the way back for you. I was a stay-at-home homeschooling mom with no income, no experience, and a decade-long gap on her resume. I started with paper garlands on my kitchen counter. Nothing I did required talent. It required starting before I felt ready, paying attention to what people were actually asking for, and being willing to completely blow up what was working when I realized that it wasn't sustainable. Success leaves clues. Every single one of the moves that I just described, I learned by watching what was already working and then following it. If you're sitting there where I was, nearing 40 or 50 or 25 and completely lost, you have not missed it. I promise you. I was the least likely person in the room, and I'm telling you, the door is still open. So go open that shop. I'll help you with the rest. I'll see you in the next one.